Let me start by thanking and welcoming both Prime Ministers to Athens. It's really a great pleasure during the COVID crisis. We have at last the opportunity to see each other in person. I would also like to welcome Nikola Dimitrov, an old friend, the new Vice Prime Minister of North Macedonia. I would like to thank Edi Rama for what he said about our cooperation quite many years ago. It's true that we worked together with Edi for the integration of, at the time, 1 million Albanians who came over to Greece, and they're becoming a very strong community in Greece and working and helping also the Albanians back. And we always saw the ethnic Greek minority in Albania and the Albanian community in Greece as bridges of friendship between the two countries. And it is very important that we continue working on that, because this is one of the main forces of friendship which we can have between the two countries, except, of course, the future for all the countries in the region. I welcome also the Prime Minister of North Macedonia saying very honestly that though we didn't support the Prespa agreement, we were very, very keen to see him being elected in North Macedonia, because except everything else, he fought against populism and radical nationalism, which was one of the main curses of the whole Balkan region. So I'm very ready to really congratulate him, because his victory is a victory for the pro-European and pro-Western democratic forces in the whole region. And the truth is that the region has two different political opinions. There are still a lot of people who are against, who are Euroscepticists, who are not delighted with the Western affiliation, who do not want the NATO participation, are under different influences. And the others, who are the pro-Europeans, who see the future of the Western Balkans in Europe, in NATO, in very close cooperation with the rest of the countries. So I'm happy to say that the momentum is quite positive, because for the moment it seems like the pro-European forces have really the lead in the Western Balkans. And this makes our responsibility very big. The responsibility of Greece, but also the responsibility of the European Union. Because to be very honest, the European Union forgot about the Western Balkans for many years. And this is something we have honestly to admit. Because it was the so-called fatigue of a lot of countries. They didn't want to expand anymore. The whole migration crisis and the whole political problems inside the different European countries led a lot of our European partners to think that, okay, we are big enough, we don't need any more countries inside the European Union. Now that was a very big mistake, and that was a very, very wrong message to the societies and to the peoples of the Western Balkans. We had a small crisis with France a little bit before the elections of Zoran Zaev. I mean, honestly, I thought that there could not be a worse problem for him to deal with than the impression that the European path was not secure. Luckily enough, it was solved successfully, so that the message became clear again. So I believe that we have a unique momentum at the moment, a momentum where the economic cooperation is extremely important. Why it's extremely important? Because, of course, a market of 30 million people is a very important market. This market, we will have it when we are all together, when the projects are projects for the whole region. And this makes sense, of course, to every investor who hears it. That's why it's very important what Zoran said, that this cooperation, we brought also a bill now in the Greek Parliament already. So this kind of cooperation has to go on and go on quite quickly because all of the countries are facing big economic challenges. And the second is that Greece, of course, has the responsibility to promote as much as possible the candidacies of these countries in the European Union. On the other side, there is a responsibility also for our partners, and this is the responsibility to proceed with all these changes which have to take place to establish more democracy, to fight corruption, to fight the problems which in different countries still exist, and give arguments to our partners who are not excited with the process of the membership. So this is extremely important. But George Katroungalos and I are in the Council of Europe today. We are dealing a lot with the structural problems with the Venice Commission, trying to help the process of some very important changes which have to take place. So, to make the long story short, cooperation, mutual understanding, tolerance, and going forward with problems which had stopped us for years is the policy I think we have to follow. Greece, as you know, signed also two important agreements in the last months with Egypt and Italy about the delineation of our, how do you call it, borders, maritime zones. Yes, sorry, maritime zones. We hope we will continue on that path also with Albania in the next months to come. And I think that with the leadership which we have today in the Western Balkans and with the German chairmanship, and there Zoran is right, because Germany is very much interested in pushing forward these candidacies, we will make the progress which the people will see and will support. So thank you very much.